Sag, welcome to your Moving On reading. For those of you who are new, Moving On reading is something I do every couple of months or so, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a reading dedicated towards the principles of moving on. Basically, any idea where we're stuck with a thought, a feeling, a belief, practice, habit, situation, place, circumstance, person. We're stuck with it. How do we get ourselves unstuck? We're here. We want to get on the other side of it. Okay. So, I do like doing these. Moving on, intimate tarot, it's really a strong reflection of the self. That being said, it's not the easiest of reads. Okay? Everything begins with self. Everything. Therefore, the answers are within us. Now, I recognize the fact that we all have, and I mean all of us, have extenuating circumstances. A them, a they, a situation. The point is, how are we finding ourselves in it? How are we contributing to it? Not contributing to it? What are we thinking about it, not thinking about it, feeling about it, not feeling about it, doing about it, not doing about it? In other words, we need to look at ourselves and our own role in a particular situation to get ourselves unstuck from it. And I'll see various states of it. People who are just waking up to the idea that they need to move on from something, or people who are determined to make positive progress in a situation, not necessarily move on from it. And somewhere in between. That's the idea, though. We're stuck and we don't want to be. So take what resonates, leave what does not. But I also understand that this is not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Okay? I understand. So if it's not yours, it's not yours. You don't have to watch. That's true for any tarot on YouTube or online in general. It's at free will. You don't have to watch it. Okay? If you find yourself at any point becoming increasingly upset, frustrated, or frankly pissed off, one of two things. It's either A, not your reading, but you're trying to force it to fit, and you shouldn't do that. 2, it is your reading, and it makes you uncomfortable. In which case, I'd advise you to pause it, watch it later, or don't watch it at all. Okay? I always say never watch tarot angry, because you will literally take nothing from it, even though it might be applying to you. So there's no point. It's one thing when good tarot is challenging. Okay. But if you're not in the space to accept that challenge, you'll get nothing from it. Okay? So there you go. That's it, really. This is really for those members of the collectives who really honor traditional spiritual practices, and they want to push themselves, they want to see themselves in a different light, understand themselves better, and that means being willing to accept that we need to make adjustments, change, that kind of thing, you know? It's not easy, it's not for lightweights, it's not for amateurs, all right? What's going on, please? What's going on, please, for Sagittarius in moving on? Show me Sag, please, and their moving on efforts. Show me Sag, please. In their moving on efforts. Show me Sagittarius, please, in their moving on efforts. Show me Sag, please. Show me Sag. What's going on? The moon, straight away. Okay. Let's do it. Let's talk about it. 6 of Wands, the confidence to address this. You're saying you don't have the confidence to address a very deep issue here. Okay. All right. Feelings we need to confront. 3 of Pentacles, working construct in terms of cooperation. Is it, though? That's the idea. Okay. Hidden energies, 7 of Cups. The variety of feelings here. There's something here you don't want to see, and also you don't want to quite feel, or you don't feel comfortable feeling yet. Okay. Strengths, the 4 of Cups, that you're willing to be able to kind of put up with a sense of sadness, disappointment. I disagree with that. I want to see improvement. Whenever I see negativity like that in strength, it's very easy to confuse. I'll just put up with it, or I can handle it, or I can keep feeling like this and consider it a strength. That tells me it's been around a little too long and we got a little too comfortable with it. Nobody should find the 4 of Cups as a strength. Okay. Lessons we need to learn in order to successfully move forward. 4 of Wands, something to do with relationships. And the output, 2 of Pentacles, you're showing me some indecision. You're not convinced one way or the other. We shall see. You know, opening straight away with that moon energy, the 6 of Wands, the first step we need to acknowledge this is have the confidence to address the moon. In other words, you're not giving yourself enough credit to look at an issue that might be painful, hidden, or something that frankly just makes you uncomfortable. Okay, the moon energy being what it is, it's the ocean, the moon overlooks it, and it's vast. We see the vastness of it, the depths of it, and it's scary. It's scary to go into the moon or the moon waters, okay? And you do have to have, I agree, a certain level of confidence to do that. And some people are more comfortable with it than others. I call it going down Moon Avenue, you know? When you know something's not sitting with you right, you go out of your way to address it. Some folks are very comfortable going down the Moon Avenue. Other folks are not. And you're saying you don't know if you have the confidence to address an issue that's pretty deep under there. So let's take a look at your moon. Show me that moon, please. For Sag, show me that. Again, for those folks who are in a kind of particularly sensitive mindset, if you think or are convinced I'm in any way kind of picking on you, okay, that's not why I'm here. But if you choose to interpret it that way, that is indeed a choice, and it's not mine. I'm here to help, and that means looking at difficult things. Okay? I have to keep reminding people. I have to keep reminding people. I know what you're used to seeing on YouTube. I don't do that. It's all them, that, and the other. If it weren't for this, you'd be a millionaire by now. Whatever. I don't do that. You know? Good tarot is a reflection of the self, and it's challenging. Again, not easy. Not for everybody. All right. Let's see that moon energy, please, for Sag. What's lurking there under the moon waters? Judgment, an overdue lesson. Page of Pentacles, a Seven of Swords. Wow, 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 wow. Talk about I don't want to address this at all. You have a minuscule, teeny tiny idea of what makes you uncomfortable, but you don't want to address it. Seven of Swords. That's active avoidance of a very deep issue. Judgment says it's overdue to look at this, and you're like, hell no. I do not. I don't want it. I don't want to go anywhere near it. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to look at it. You know, and that's pretty intense, guys. Judgment, Page of Pentacles, a Seven of Swords. Even the littlest bit of recognition that there's a truth of reality in there, you're like, you're not catching Sag today. So this, whatever this is, makes you extremely uncomfortable, mentally and emotionally. Mental, emotional. And even the slightest provocation of the truth here, pentacle, tangible, real. Judgment, it's time to look at this. It's a lesson that's overdue. Let us enlighten you. It's time to confront this. You're like, hell no. I ain't confronting nothing. You won't even show me what it is. All I know is that spiritually speaking, it needs to be addressed. Even that little page got rejected. That little guy. All right, let's see that Six of Wands. We don't have the confidence, or we feel we don't have the confidence to address a very deep issue. Let's take a look at the Six of Wands, please. Show me the Six of Wands. Show me that Six of Wands. Show me that Six of Wands. Empress energy here. What's going on? Show me that Six of Wands, please. The Ten of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune, the Fool. Ooh. Why does that make you so uncomfortable? You're saying you don't feel secure to open up even though you've wanted to for a long time. You don't feel secure to open up, to start over, to have a brand new beginning. Why? You used to have a sense of stability here that you say you don't have as much confidence in as you should like. In a way that kind of scares you from opening up even though you kind of want to. You're showing me Ten of Pentacles, but it's one that you don't know that you necessarily feel secure about. Wheel of Fortune, time has passed. You should be able to take security from your Ten of Pentacles by now, which should leave you free to be the Fool. If you want to open up to new journeys and new chapters, you can. So you're saying, no, my place isn't stable. My 3D environment, it's not stable. I don't have the confidence in my own sense of stability. Even though I would like to journey forth and open up, blast that energy open. But we don't like looking at this at all. Why does that make you so uncomfortable? How much of your scenery do you want to change, but you're not admitting to yourself? You're saying you have a foundation there, and I believe you. You're saying you have some stability, but you don't feel secure in your own stability that you created. Possibly co-created. I don't know. Ten of Pentacles, you don't necessarily have to have a co-creator or a co-pilot. You can actually achieve that on your own back as an individual. So, I don't know. But you're saying it's there, you acknowledge it, it exists, but you don't find much security in it, you don't have much confidence in it. It's like, yeah, it's a foundation, it's not necessarily the foundation I wanted, but it's mine. But it's like you don't dare admit to yourself that you would like to make changes. Like, I can't dare admit that to myself, Christina. I can't even begin to invest in that thought. I wouldn't know where to begin. It scares you. It scares you, the idea that you could change your way of life, your 3D, yourself. Being open to real change scares you. And then you kind of quote your foundation as not being stable, so it's not a good time. Besides, it's... What else is there to discover? I don't need to change anything anyway. It's a moot point. Then why are you so scared of it? That's fear. Seven of Swords under the moon with judgment, that's fear. Fear of addressing something. How much of it do you deeply desire to change then, but you won't admit to yourself? Let's see that Three of Pentacles, please. Feelings that we need to confront. Show me that Three of Pentacles, please. Show me that Three of Pentacles. Show me that Three of Pentacles. Show me that. Does it scare you how much you want change? And you don't. You push that down in as much as you are humanly capable as being any sort of truth. It is a truth. If you have to deny it that hard, it is a truth. Let's see that Three of Pentacles. Show me that Three of Pentacles. Show me that Three of Pentacles. Feelings here we need to confront, please. Nine of Cups, King of Pentacles. Called it. I called it. I called it. Called it. I didn't call it. Your energy called it. It's even though you deeply want to keep that a secret, it's actually incredibly straightforward. You want to make major changes in your life, but you don't want to do away with the whole thing. You don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. There are elements to your life that you do like quite a bit, but those other parts that I told you don't feel very stable. They don't feel very stable to you because it's not what you want. You're creating instability by maintaining something, part of your world, that you actually don't want to maintain. Parts of it you like, parts of it you don't. And the parts that you don't like, you would like to change the most, you suppress the most. You say, hell no, I don't. Everything's fine. That sense of you don't have confidence in your foundation is because, like, say, 40% of it's what you want, 60% is what you don't want. Or the other way around, I don't give a shit. Either way, it's a big chunk of change. So there's parts of it you would deeply like to change, but it terrifies you to admit that to yourself. Why? Why? You know, foundations are made the way they're made. They don't always shake out the way that we had thought, hoped, or intended. We get influenced all the time. And it's like, if I go back and do this and that and the other, yeah, that's normal. And there's parts of it as we go along we can absolutely change. And I often say it's like a cooked meatloaf. That foundation, once the ingredients are in it and you cook it, it's done. But that doesn't mean you can't modify it. You can put a glaze on top of your meatloaf. You can add cornflakes. A lot of people do. Just because I don't doesn't mean other people, you know, saying you can modify it as you go along, or you can completely undo that meatloaf and start over, you know? I don't necessarily see you wanting to start the whole thing over, scratch it, start from ground zero. What I'm saying is that there's big parts in you that you would love to open up towards new, make it your own new journey, but with some pre-existing elements that you are comfortable with, that you do recognize as being stable. Understand? But you don't want to see that at all. And then I'm over here at your feelings to confront. We're talking personal shit that you would make you feel like a, well, for lack of a better word here, proud papa. It's coming across heavily as masculine energy. It's like I could take so much more pride and love in this if I could get it more like this. And I'm not saying you are masculine when I'm saying that's the energy that's being provoked. Just the idea of acquiring or maneuvering in more elements that actually speak to you and your sense of stability and your sense of empowerment and your sense of leadership, but above all, your sense of love for yourself. So what are those? What are parts of the foundation that do work and you would like to keep, and other parts you could be like, why do you think that? Why do you treat it like a big dirty secret? Like, I don't dare admit that to myself. Nope, 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 nope. Because those feelings you would like to confront, no matter how small those modifications, at 30, okay, let's call it 30% then, 3. Let's say that 30% of that foundation you would like to change, and that would make you extremely happy. Like I said, proud Papa sitting over here saying, look at me. Not only what I've managed to achieve, I did it because it was under my will to do so. My practice is a stability and loving myself, and then also, P.S., it means a lot to me. Let's go over here to that 7 of Cups in your hidden energies. Interesting. Show me that 7 of Cups, please. And those hidden energies. Show me those hidden energies, please. Let's see that 7 of Cups. What would you like to change? Then you suppress the dickens out of it. I mean, really? That's some intense suppression, man. Avoidance, denial. I can't even begin to invest in that thought, Christina. I'm not gonna. Let's see that 7 of Cups, please. Show me that 7 of Cups, show me that 7 of Cups, show me that 7 of Cups. The Hanged Man, the Ace of Pentacles, Page of Wands. But it hasn't completely left you. You can hide those energies all you want. And I'm looking at a side, you're very comfortable hiding things. And it's weird because it comes back down to your life as you practically see it. What's in it? Possibly who's in it? You keep telling me you have a greater goal in mind, and that should be at the forefront of your energy. But it's like you're saying, for that reason, because it's the foundation, I don't have time to dick around with it or get confrontational about the pieces or elements I missed or wish I could change up. It's too late to switch it out. Christina, life is not like Legos, okay? You can't just take some away and add some. I'm going to push back on you on that. And the reason I know that is, first of all, your energy is already contradicting the thought. Second, I know it's not true. Most human beings don't. It's called adaptability. Do or die. Adapt or die. Okay. Why? Is it because changing 30-40% of that foundation, would it be too much work, or is it just too scary to confront that you would have to impose those changes? But just the idea of it makes you phenomenally happy. Empowered, and you love yourself. You have the strength to love yourself for having done it. Just the idea of it kind of makes you feel really good about you. As soon as you have the thought, you shut it down. Anyway, under your hidden energies, the Hanged Man, Ace of Pentacles, the Page of Wands. See, you can say it's hidden all you want. You have no feeling about it one way or the other. 7 Cups is a murky, confusing bullshit card. I feel this way, I feel that way. It's under your hidden energy, so you said that there is nothing to think about or nothing to feel about. Again, not true. It's just on delay. The only reason it's on delay is because I keep seeing you suppress it. Judgment keeps knocking on your moon door. Hey, Sag, open up. I want to confront you on this. And you're like, hell no. You got the barricades up. You're just like, in fact, you don't exist at all. You're going under the moon. And all you're doing is delaying the possibility of that real tangible beginning or additions or strengthening your life as you see it. That's all it's doing, is delaying. That's it. Denial equals delay in this reading I'm looking at today. That's it. What is it? What is it that you want to incorporate, add or subtract? But you act like it's a dirty little secret. What is that? Show me that fork. I see now you activated my Scorpio. Okay, and now I gotta dig. Okay. You know what? It's I will say this: the gripes with Apple technology aside, for which I have some. What I do like is when it says potential spam. Awesome. I should have answered that and just started fucking with them on camera. Continued on with the reading, and they're like, "Hello." That would have been awesome. You ever pick up a spam call just to mess with them? Because just in that moment, it caught you, and you're like, you know what? I'm feeling a little bit asshole-ish right now. Let's have some fun. Yeah. Is that just me? Is that my Scorpio thing? I don't know. Because obviously I don't. I mean, spam calls, robocalls are so common now, you can't pick them all up. But every now and again, you get that one where you're like, you know what? Let's have some fun. I do. I have a little bit of a defiant streak. I do. It's actually on some tests. Anyway. You can't go into the background I have, by the way, counseling and therapy and all that without having taken tests yourself. Obviously, it's a form of regulation or regulating future practitioners. So you have to take the test yourself and understand what it's like. And then also, P.S., make sure you're not completely Looney Tunes yourself before you start working with other people. So yeah, I've had some tests done. And I remember the results on that test on that particular day. And he's like, you have a little bit of a defiance streak. Not enough that it's defiance disorder, but you got a defiance streak. I'm like, I know. Doc, you're not telling me anything I don't already know. But I like a little bit of defiance because, you know, it helps push past the normative and the barriers and the boxes people keep insisting on shoving you into and labeling you with, and that's just not who you are. So you have to have that defiance in order to carve out things that other people wouldn't dare, wouldn't know how, or frankly wouldn't apply to them. I know you know. I'm talking to the right group. I know I am. Now, I'd like to see you apply some of your classic Sagittarian energy to this, to dare defy yourself and approach it, look at it, address it, or will yourself. Some of you are Sag rising. Or possibly South Node. I could definitely see where Sag might be your South Node in this. Possibly North Node. But if it's North and rising, then we're suppressing our Sagittarian energy here today, folks. All right, let's see that Four of Cups, please. Sorry, I do get off track. Two of Pentacles. Page of Swords, the Knight of Wands. See, it's you convincing yourself to play hot foot. You consider it a strength at this time to just delay. All you're doing is delaying your energy once more. The positive energy. And the insistence that you don't know what to do or that you have no choice. That's not true. The more you have to force yourself to believe that, the more you're spending unnecessary energy into making yourself feel bad. What you want to do is clear, bright, bold, beautiful, and fits you. Every time you go counter to it, you shut down parts of yourself that are real, and you've yet to show me what those changes are. But they seem to be critical to your overall way of life, not just one specific thing. It's like if I dare change that 30-40%, Christina, I can't think about it. But yes, would it overall lend to my overall life experience and the happiness and fulfillment I find it and myself in it? Yeah. I don't dare do that. Why? Is it Two of Pentacles? There it is. Oh, I hate the Two of Pentacles, I swear to God. Here's Page of Swords, the Knight of Wands. Just like you're saying, you know, you're minimizing what you're feeling, which I hate people, but given the situation, am I surprised? No. I just hate it when people do it. You're minimizing your energy to make it seem like it's no big deal. That way you can kind of convince yourself it's no big deal, that it's fully or a pipe dream or a fool's gold or whatever. You know, it's just, you're saying it's just a strength to kind of accept the fact that you're always going to be unhappy when it comes to that 30-40%. You have the energy to make changes, but you're convinced you don't. You have the resources to make changes, you're convinced you don't. You act like you have no particular feeling or regard for this one way or the other. That's part of that moon shit. That's denial suppression. That's not true either. All you're doing is delaying. Denial equals delay. Remember that. Otherwise, you have some beautiful components that are hypothetical in nature, but won't become realized until you allow them to become realized. Let's keep going. Let's see that four. This is going to give me some insight. Four of Wands, lessons you need to learn in order to proceed successfully. Something to do with relationships and how you view them, cultivate them, act in them, practice in them. I don't know. Let's take a look at that Four of Wands, please. Show me that Four of Wands. Show me that Four of Wands. Show me that Four of Wands. But I'll have you know. Okay, going back to those tests and things. That wasn't my most outstanding quality. They also went, whoa, your emotional intelligence is off the charts. I'm like, I also know that. Thank you. It's like, you're an empathetic person, aren't you? I'm like, yeah, much to my cost. It's not easy having a squishy heart, you know. It's not. So that also pays to have a little bit of that defiant streak. It helps me kind of curtail some of that. All right, let's see the Four of Wands, please. Everything balances out, ideally, in nature, be it personality, real world activity. Things have a way of balancing out. It might take time, but they do. All right. Four of Wands. Show me that Four of Wands about these lessons. About relationships, please. Show me that Four of Wands, please. Ace of Swords, Truth, Seven of Pentacles, the Six of Cups. I'm not doing a them or they. Let's make this clear. Look at me. I'm not doing a them or they. Okay, let's make that clear. I'm not doing finger pointing. They have a particular truth. You have a particular truth, and it's been with you slowly growing for some time. You have a strong truth regarding a soul bond. Is that the 30 or 40% that you would like to add or subtract to your life? As part of your overall, you showed me the greater scheme of things, what's important to you, the Ten of Pentacles, having confidence in it, being a source of reliability, loyalty, so on and so forth, resourceful. Okay, I can tell that I'm looking at someone who tends to be quite proud, okay, especially in terms of their success and how they're viewed. Your perception of how others, perceive you isn't very important. What doesn't seem to be as important to you is your perception of yourself. That's a problem. You want high levels of visibility, of consistency, resourcefulness, loyalty. And I think your nature here is coming into, well, this is what I have, therefore I should stand by it. It's what you have, but it's not necessarily what you want. And you don't seem to know how to integrate what you want into perceiving that it's correct for you. Because you're very concerned that if I shut down this 30-40% and pick up something else in my life, it'll look poorly on me. So that goes anti-empowerment, that goes anti-resourceful, and that goes anti-loving yourself. I just want to point the contradiction out. That Four of Wands there in the lessons that must be learned, the truth, we need to acknowledge it. Ace of Swords, that's been growing with you, Seven of Pentacles for a minute about a soul bond. Something that's close to you, you have a unique bond with. Unique memories, the swapping of energies that are very fluent. You don't have to speak about it, it just happens. This is a person that you feel innately attached to and you don't really necessarily understand why. But you have unique memories with them, unique emotional imprints. They just hit you different compared to, say, a friend or a coworker or a particular family member. The energy hits different, it's supposed to. It leaves that impression. They're saying, you know who this is. And there's a truth in them about relationships that represent part of the pentacle world I believe you're missing. This is either an energy that you are considering subtracting from your Ten of Pentacles, and the idea of it worries you considerably, or adding, and the idea of it completes you. The choice is yours, is which is which. I'm not focusing on a them or they, and I'm not going to figure out who it is for you. I've described what I've described, and that means you should know. The Sag I'm looking at, you've had a growing truth about what relationships should feel like to you, look like to you, and should be experienced by you. Under the deck, King of Cups. It caught my attention. It doesn't always do that. You don't always have to point out the underlying energy. I used to, but it's not really the point. It's underlying. This is the main gig. But if I see it, I see it. Okay? Two of Pentacles is in that outcome. Show me that Two of Pentacles. Show me that Two of Pentacles. Show me that Two of Pentacles, please. Show me that Two of Pentacles. Show me that Two of Pentacles. I see you playing hot foot, back and forth, hot and cold, yes or no, not convinced one way or the other, and then you kind of settle back into, well, I can just be unhappy and live with it. It is what it is, that's life. Except it's not working. I know it's not working because I see the conflict in you, and when we have unresolved conflict, we have unresolved issues, and we just have a way of keep playing this thing out over and over again until either A, we die, or B, we resolve it. How do we resolve it? That's what I want to see for you, honey. I hate this. It's interesting. It's a very interesting reading. I like it. There's many pieces of it that I do like. Because it has confrontation of reality as well as perception of self and loving the self and spiritual awareness. heavily met with reality, so I appreciate that a lot. It's easier for me to see it that way. But the conflict to me looks incredibly straightforward, but I'm sure that's not how you experience it. So it's not that I don't appreciate it. Six of Wands, Two of Swords, the High Priestess. Interesting. That's interesting. That's what I'd like to spin out for another half hour. I know it looks so simple. Like, what is he talking about? It's just the Two of Pentacles, then then the Two of Swords, and the High Priestess. It's like no big deal. I know it looks that way, but think about everything that led up to it. So what I'm seeing here, Two of Pentacles, Six of Wands, Two of Swords, the High Priestess. Now that's the ticket. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. Especially when I see that high dose of masculine pride. Okay. Again, you don't have to be masculine. But it's that sense of I am the commander of my own ship. I am the master of my own destiny. Right? I giveth and taketh of my world. Kind of. Forcing yourself to keep pieces in there that you don't want in play anymore and refusing to adopt others that would clearly make you happy. I think that's real empowerment. Okay. And here's what it goes back to, that Two of Pentacles and the insistence on confusion here. This was an honest reflection. You're saying you do this, and why you often default to suppression, because it's just easier not to think about it. But every now and again, when you take those pentacles out and you toss them around, you come up to one thought. It ties back to this. Is it pride or ego? Pride, ego, that's encouraging me to do this, or is it my intuition? Ooh, yes. Yes, boo-boo. Oh, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. You hit the nail on that head. We got there. We got there. You say you can't tell you wanting to make these changes. The ones that's so scary. We avoid it, right? I'm not saying that you're afraid. What I'm saying is thinking about this makes you extremely uncomfortable. You can't tell if this feeling, this full feeling to add, subtract pieces to your foundation, is that coming from ego and pride? Or is it what you're really feeling, intuition? That's an excellent question, my friend. And they're going to point that back out to you, raw. And I can point it out to you too, for that matter. Delayed opportunities, delayed strength building, and what would actually make you happy. But lessons learned, Four of Wands. You have the truth, slow as it may be, about a slow building, slowly constructed, possibly stagnant, topped out relationship once upon a time. I don't know what that is to you. But it's clear now. It's supposed to be a clear thought by now about what it means to you. And that's going to tell you the difference in a Six of Cups between ego and intuitively, does this fit me? And honestly, that could be a two-sided coin, honey. For some of you, that lessons learned can represent two sides of one coin. A relationship that's stagnant and you know the truth of it, but you've known them a long time. The other side of that coin, a relationship that was slowly built over time, but with someone whom you were bonded to. One of them could be the subtraction, one of them could be the addition. And that would really make you uncomfortable, right? All I do is point out what's there. I can't tell you what to do. But that's the real thought right there. Is it ego or is it intuition, Christina? I don't know, Sag. Is it ego or is it intuition? Something either feels right to you or it feels unnatural to you and you force yourself to kind of deal with it. What is unnatural is forcing yourself to keep something going that you clearly don't want to. That's the unnatural feeling. That's where the discomfort comes in. That's where you get energy fragmentation. That's where you get splintering. That's where you get conflict. And you can shove that thing, and don't get me wrong, honey. People have no idea the depths of which the ocean goes. You ever heard of the Mariana Trench? It can go pretty damn deep. So I don't know how much you've kind of smothered this inclination of not looking at this from a realistic point of view, but I know that you've gotten used to doing it. But every now and again, you can't help but toss the coins around. The pros and cons of this. The ups and downs. Yes, me making these add-ons would please me, but is it selfish ego? Or is it a true representation of empowerment and strength? And intuition. I know your intuition's connected to that connection. But then it could also be, like I said, two sides of one particular coin. One's added, one's subtracted. And again, there's that sense of perception. How would I be perceived? I don't know. How would you be perceived? And doing what's right for you, or continuing to do what's wrong for you? Which one actually looks natural versus unnatural, you know? I'll hope that you make progress in that. There's got some good material in here. You do. You have all the elements in place. It's your ability to see them. Now, how others perceive you, how do you perceive you? That should answer things, okay? Number 13. This one always reminds me of Janis Joplin. Breathe. This moment matters the most. When you have that moment where those pentacles crop up and you start tossing them around and your immediate reaction is to smack them down, I want you to stop. It's all in your mind. You're committing more of a crime by not allowing yourself to think it. Because that's when you get yourself into trouble with you. I want you to stop thinking fear and fear notes. This is how other people will perceive me. How about you be more concerned about how you perceive yourself? Start there. Everything begins with the self. If you don't want others to care about if you don't want to care how about others perceive you, then you need to look at you and embrace what it is you do know to be true and feel to be true, and no one can hold anything against you. Okay? I don't know why that perception thing keeps coming up, but it does. You know, if we did everything by somebody else's book and standard and box and labeling, some of us wouldn't be where we are today. Okay? So I know your pride and your sense of how people look at you is important, but it also should be important to you too. How do you see yourself? As someone who's too afraid to look at these things, or someone who can meet them head on and start making decisions about what's right for them? Something to think about. So breathe. Allow yourself to breathe through the moment. Allow these thoughts to come to you. Allow them to roll through you. Are you afraid of how strong the feeling is? That if you started to think about it too much, you might start taking it seriously, God forbid? That's what it is to be emperor, honey. The emperor takes ownership of everything that's right and everything that's not going so right. He has to. He's the leader. Slap some King of Pentacles on there. Very strong sense of pressure. That's what I'm saying. The perception of others about you amounts to a hill of beans. It starts with you. Are you afraid of how strong-willed you could be in this, that you could adopt changes? That if you started thinking about it a little too much, right, you got a little too comfortable with the idea, then you'd have to start doing something? 21. That's exactly what I'm talking about, the Great Awakening. Walk into your truth and stand firm in your light. Yeah, as we've been talking about. You be more concerned about how you perceive you. Are you the man or woman that you want to be? Is this, I know you're good with a good 60-70% of it. And that's what you keep trying to tell yourself. It's the majority of what counts. But so too is that thought of it could be 100 though. 100%. Recovery. Some of you have gotten shaky. What is that? Some of you got shaky about your, did you have an accident? Some of you got shaky around your foundations and their stability, and after an intense recovery period, some of you had injuries, intense injuries. Made you question a lot, particularly security and not making changes. In fact, doubling down and ensuring what you have is what you have. You became less inclined to make changes after that. So some of you, it's such a distinct marker. It's not a little R&R, guys. This was different. This one hits different. Recovery as in the sense of real medical trauma. And that's when we started feeling less and less open to things. Sticking to what we know. Don't go chasing waterfalls. That's TLC, of course. Don't go chasing waterfalls. That's what you told yourself. Please stick to the rivers and lakes that you're used to. No more chasing adventures. Some of you feel like you're just now in that place in your life where you're fully recovered from that and you're not looking to change anything. It was too scary. If it weren't for that, you might view change a little differently, even if it's just 30%. Don't go chasing waterfalls. That's a shame. I love chasing a good waterfall. It serves me well, but that depends on your point of view or your mindset. You know? I'm teaching my daughter how to cook. She's 10. Now, this is going somewhere, I promise. And that's when I learned. I was raised by my dad. And he was raised by old country family. They came from Germany. And you teach your children how to do basic household functions at a very early age. And they still do as a standard in that country. And he brought those practices over and they incorporated. So seeing children learn how to cook, clean, sew, that kind of thing at a young age is considered normal. Okay? Now that's how I grew up. And I'm teaching that to my daughter. I started teaching her the basic mechanics at 10. I was 7. So I gave my daughter a couple more years. But I insist because I understand that people in their 20s apparently don't know how to make soup or cook eggs. They just do everything on an app. So she's not going to be one of these helpless people. So I started teaching her the basic elements at 10. And here's the thing. She's doing what all kids do. They're nervous about being around the stove, handling hot water, handling knives. They have to. You can't expect somebody to know how to cook and never practiced a day in their life. And it's a little old at age, 20. And they're in college and they have a whole life and they don't have time for it now. So at some point you have to start teaching them basics. I stand by this. It's old school, but it works. Okay? And at first, she was scared. And she is still going to be. She's not a master of the kitchen. But the point is, every time she had a moment to be afraid. Every time she had, oh God, I'm going to screw it up. Or something, or I dropped something. Okay. Or the whatever got away from me. I said, honey, it's okay to be scared, but you get back in the kitchen. Okay? You see what I'm trying to say? You get back, or you allow fear to overcome your life. Some of you are in that place of recovery, but you haven't gotten back into this idea that beyond your stability, that there are other avenues for you, or that you can make allowances for change. The idea is scary. And in that confrontation, you keep finding yourself backing away from the kitchen. Like, that last incident was too much. I'm going to start ordering food from DoorDash now. See what I'm saying? I think many of you are places in recovery, and you've had an opportunity here and there to make room for yourself and advances that require changes. And then we remember the vulnerability we had, where things seemed out of our control, and it kind of locked us into place. Make sense? So while I admire this question, and this is a good question to ask yourself, what I'm feeling, is it a reflection of my ego, pride and vanity, or is it real empowerment and a sense of intuition? That's for you to figure out. But I do know that some of you are influenced by this sense of strong recovery after a shakeup that might have put you and your foundation in jeopardy. And you kind of got a little afraid of stepping foot in different directions. Okay? Anyway. Sorry. As I said, it is going somewhere, I promise you. It did go somewhere. I hope that made sense. I hope that made sense. In the near future, hopefully we'll see some progress for you about answering some of these questions. You'll have a strong feeling, a thought, an idea that you will allow to blast through, roll through you, incorporate it, so it can start influencing you. That way you can start making decisions, because I see you being in a place of stuckness and a kind of willingness to work through it. So don't challenge yourself to start making changes out the gate. What I'm saying is start right here with this thought. Start pulling that thread. Allow yourself to. You might be surprised. Come to find out, perhaps you're happy with where things are, really, and you can see it and address it and embrace it. But for others of you who clearly aren't, and you're just used to suppressing your upsetness, sadness, and disappointment and saying, get over it, you're going to realize you saying that's not good enough for you. And what's held you back? For some of you, a sense of recovery, financial loss for some of you. And that's always a serious thing. And for some of you, I feel strongly it was a physical thing. I can't see it, but I kind of feel it floating around as an idea that it made you realize your time, your vulnerability, possibly your age. And I know that's scary, but you're safe now. There we go. Step up and lead. New moon in Capricorn. I know it's in you. Some of you have such a strong desire to provide and to be a leader, and the way that you're seen, I always have to step up. People are watching me. But also be in mind you're as much as a viewer as anyone else. Everything begins with the self. I'll know that what other people see in you, think of you, is clearly a point of concern. But above all, you should be more concerned with how you perceive yourself. Or, like I said, are you the man or woman that you intended to be? Are you doing the things that you need to do in your best interest? And if that means making changes 20, 30, 40% in order for you to be your most empowered self, what does that look like? Okay. Be proud of yourself. Last quarter moon in Taurus. Oh, yes, you should be proud of yourself. Like I said, those 10 of Pentacles don't just drop out of thin air. You have to work towards it. So if you were the primary driver behind that 10 of Pentacles, then it's also therefore, I'm sorry, that's your prerogative to be the driver for change and adjustments. Something to think about. Honor your feelings. That's what I'm saying. You denying them and you call it a strength. That's not honoring your feelings. That's dismissing them and dehumanizing yourself. We don't do that around here. Okay? Okay. Now, in the near future, I'm curious about this. 222, that's heavy emphasis on February as well as Piscean season. 6 of Wands, it's coming through. It might be more developed by the beginning of the year. On a Tuesday. So specific. In November, everybody's pulling up November. Some of you might have started feeling about this on a November, rainy day. Somebody else got these exact same cards, I believe. Okay. Within a month, and for some of you in March, progress dates. Possibly for some of you when this started. Okay? I do hope this helps you. Not only about moving on, honey, it's about making progress for you today. I want you to make some progress. You need to, and I think that's an excellent question. Is this ego-driven desire to make changes, or is it coming from a real intuitive place in me? And is it the best representation of me and how I perceive myself, other people? Start with you. Okay? I do hope this helped you. Put in the comments as you see fit. Take care. Be well.